Tell me, girl, you the best, but I already know what I am. They know I only wanna come over, put it on them. I got that whoa, nah, nah, nah. He drink that shit like water.
Hello everyone. My name is Asia and I make K-pop animation videos, and will sometimes dabble into K-pop commentary. This video has technically been in the making for probably a whole year straight, or possibly even longer. I actually wanted to make and release this video after July, which is Sunoo's birthday month, but then I decided to wait until ENHYPEN's sweet Venom comeback to see if more stuff would happen. Spoiler, more stuff did indeed happen. The title of this video is probably very confusing and a little surprising to some of you. Some of you that don't follow ENHYPEN closely probably just assume that Sunoo stans are all relaxed, chill, minding their own business, doing Aegyo 25/8 just like him, and just overall very wholesome people. Well, sadly I'm here to tell you all the truth of what's been going on with Sunoo stans as of recently, and definitely since the days of ILand. As a Sunoo stan myself since their drunk dazed fever era, I've been following the ENHYPEN members as closely as I can. And since I adore Sunoo with my whole heart, I've been following both him and his fanbase closely. I think off the bat I started to notice some things about his fans. As time went on, I started noticing more and more things that were deemed as very overprotective, a bit possessive, and even very, very demanding. Little things kept happening and I took notes on everything to later add onto this video. No, seriously, I wrote on the Notepad app on my phone taking note of everything I was seeing on Twitter. And then there was one incident that happened that made me so angry with some of Sunoo's fans that really wanted me to make this entire video. And I didn't write all those things down on my phone to just sit here and rant about them. Oh no. I literally spent time also taking screenshots of so many tweets and even TikTok's search bar. Plus a whole Reddit post someone wrote about the very situation that pissed me off the most. I'm gonna talk all about it later though, just you wait because I have many things to say. I'm making this video to archive this behavior from a group of people most people would not expect this from. I'm sure Jeans themselves already know about how Sunoo stans are. So this video isn't necessarily for them unless they truly don't know. This is more for the casual and non-fans of ENHYPEN that have no idea what's going on. Enough with this stupidly long intro. Let's get into this bullshit that has been driving me nuts for months witnessing everything. I can definitely say that Sunoo doesn't really seem to be able to promote himself in more variety shows unlike the other members. I truly don't know if it's because the company won't let him or if he's now too busy to go on them. I'm not sure. His first full solo promotion was back in 2021 when he went on that cooking show. Since then he's done promotions with some of the other members, but I've recently noticed that that isn't enough for Sunoo stans anymore. I say this because the day Nicki's solo promotion project was released, I started seeing tweets like this the very next day. I completely understand wanting Sunoo to be given more solo promotions. I agree with that. But did they really have to start complaining around the same time Nicki had his solo promotion released? Honestly, I don't think this incident was as toxic, but it just felt off enough for me to mention it here at least. Okay, so this happened pretty recently and this is when I realized that these excessive complaints were starting to get extremely nitpicky. For those that have no idea what happened, around the time the album preview for Orange Blood released, there was an avalanche of complaints on Twitter from Sunoo stans that Sunoo's vocals were not played at all in the video. Now I don't know if this is the first time this happened, but if it is, chill out please. I don't think Belift Lab left out Sunoo's vocals in the album preview was intentional. The whole point of an album preview is to showcase the best parts of a song, right? I guess Sunoo stans automatically thought they cut out his parts on purpose because they weren't the best in their eyes. I guess they have to hear his voice every 0.2 seconds or they will lose their minds. And then more complaints came when the teaser video for Sweet Venom was released. The first complaint was that Sunoo was not shown in the thumbnail of the teaser. He was completely hidden behind Heesung. I do agree that they should have chosen a better thumbnail, but again I don't think this was intentional. They just wanted an up-close face shot of one of the members to make it look more appealing. The next complaint I saw was of Sunoo stans being mad that Sunoo and Jay didn't get any center parts within the teaser. No center parts in the teaser? Do you guys see why I think these complaints are very nitpicky? They're really out here complaining about Sunoo not making any vocal or physical appearances within album previews and teasers now. Can someone tell me if this is actually the first time Sunoo didn't have vocals play in an album preview or center parts in a teaser? If it is, I'm sorry but y'all need to relax. You don't need to see and or hear him in every single piece of ENHYPEN content to ever exist. You're not gonna die, I promise. Also I think adding Jay in there is a little funny because to me the attempt to try and stick up for every member this time is hilarious. I already know what the true complaint was. When I first started standing ENHYPEN, I watched some clips from ILand to see how the members got picked into the group, as well as some of the performances from that show. I knew about ILand before it started airing, but I refused to watch it because I personally hate survival shows. I am not about to be attached to a contestant only for them to be eliminated at some point. I would be an emotional wreck. Anyway, I also saw clips of how K treated some of the other contestants on the show, and he apparently didn't have much of a great image at the time. A lot of ILand fans thought he acted like an asshole on some episodes, so he had some haters off the jump. But the haters I guess increased tenfold when him, Sunoo and some other contestant named Daniel were the final 3 about to be picked for the group. Of course we all know that Sunoo was the final member picked, and was even picked as producer's choice. Fast forward a year later and a new group called ANDTEAM was formed from some other survival show. K made it into that group, and for their debut showcase K was asked a certain question by their MC. He asked something about what K thought about himself being in the final lineup during ILand and not getting chosen, or something along those lines. And for some reason, K's answer sparked huge outrage from Sunoo stans everywhere. Well, what did he even say to piss nearly every Sunoo stan off? Let me read it out to you.
Right, I was eliminated rather dramatically, you could say. Fans from all over the world were watching and my family were watching, and in the studio itself BTS and TXT were also there. I was so confused by the fact I was not selected at the last minute that I couldn't give any proper comments. All the members of ENHYPEN believed we would debut together. And I felt sorry and embarrassed for my family and the fans who supported me. However, a while after my elimination, I got a call from the company. We have another project coming up. With that, my feelings changed.
So, did anyone see anything remotely wrong with that answer? Yeah, neither did I. Sunoo stans were quick to start accusing and assuming that K said Sunoo didn't deserve to debut with the other members. I only managed to find this tweet that started the avalanche of hate towards K. But I swear to you I saw so many angry tweets trashing K for this answer. And I was sitting on my bed like, where did he say all of that? He doesn't mention Sunoo at all in his answer. I mean, yeah, he was talking about the final lineup and not getting picked, but he didn't say anything about Sunoo not deserving to debut in ENHYPEN. I can see how some of the words he used here can easily be taken wrong, like I was eliminated rather dramatically. I was so confused by the fact I was not selected, and I felt sorry and embarrassed for my family and fans. But he also said in his statement that all of the members of ENHYPEN believed we would debut together, so it makes me think he originally wanted to debut along with Sunoo, not debut instead of him. Unless I'm missing something, because again K was kinda known to be an asshole while ILand aired. He probably meant he was confused about not getting picked in general, and not just the final lineup. And he felt embarrassed in that moment because yeah, getting eliminated on the very last episode of a survival show after working your ass off the whole time is a wee bit embarrassing. Especially in front of your senior groups. And yes, he was eliminated rather dramatically because it was in front of his seniors on national television and online. His friends, family and fans saw it all. And didn't the goddamn MC announcer dude take a literal billion years to announce the final member for the immense dramatic effect? I don't think I really blame K for having this be his statement about all of that. But that man never said anything about Sunoo not deserving to debut. I definitely think Sunoo stans have some sort of grudge towards him because of how he acted on ILand. Jake revealed in an Eric Nam interview once that all of the contestants on ILand were extremely competitive because every single contestant there wanted to debut so badly. So wouldn't it make sense that in that moment, K was most likely legitimately upset that he didn't get picked? I don't know what he was thinking at that moment, of course. But I'm sure he thought back to all the times he thought he worked so hard for to try and get in, only for none of that to really matter in the end. He was probably more upset about his hard work being wasted than Sunoo getting in instead of him, is what I'm trying to say. It's fine to dislike K, but you don't have to twist his words up like Twister and spread lies about him just because you hate the guy. K and all of the ENHYPEN members seem to be really good friends now. And K also seems to have changed since his ILand asshole days. So to every Sunoo stan that hates K, either be a little civil with him or try to ignore his existence. I promise it is not that hard. I don't remember if Sunoo stans have always complained about his lack of lines in songs, but all I know is that I've been seeing a lot more complaints about this recently. They ramped up around the time Bite Me was released, and truthfully Sunoo did get a crazy small amount of lines in that song. These complaints spread through his stans and they started to mention and email BeliftLab on Twitter telling them to give him more lines. I mean, I guess they listened because Sunoo got more lines both in Sweet Venom and especially in Still Monster. But I've seen a lot of Sunoo stans claim that he always gets the least amount of lines constantly. So I found a line distribution across nearly all of ENHYPEN's songs including their Japanese releases to see which member actually gets the least amount of lines. Here's the line distribution chart. As you can see, Nikki is actually the member that gets the least amount of lines in their songs. Sunghoon is almost tied with him. Sunoo seems to actually get an average amount of lines. Do I think he should get more lines in songs? Of course I do. But it's pretty clear that Nikki and Sunghoon are the ones being done dirty here, not really Sunoo. I don't know where these Sunoo gets the least amount of lines out of everyone accusations are coming from. Why can't these Sunoo stans just say they want him to get more lines in songs and leave it at that? You don't have to straight up lie and say something is happening when it isn't even true. Let's all be thankful that he was given a decent amount of lines and screen time on their Orange Blood album, because right now the Sunoo stans are a little quieter. It's not gonna last at all though, trust me. So this is something I actually agree with, but Sunoo stans have been trying to twist it into something else. In a recent Weverse Live, Jungwon revealed that they did not film a reaction video for the Orange Blood concept trailer. Everyone understandably got upset because they actually filmed a reaction video for their Dark Blood concept trailer. So why not film another one for Orange Blood? The Dark Blood concept trailer was more Sunghoon character focused, and the Orange Blood concept trailer was more Sunoo character focused. Sunoo stans immediately assumed that because it was Sunoo focused, they purposely didn't film a reaction video because Belift knew that a lot of people were waiting for it. They were trying to accuse Belift Lab of not wanting to really promote Sunoo from that trailer or something like that. There's zero proof of this assumption, so take it with a grain of salt. We have no idea why they didn't film a reaction video for the Orange Blood concept trailer. I can only assume that they had no time to film it, but at the same time they made time to film one for Dark Blood. It's confusing and I agree with this complaint to an extent. It would have been nice to see all the members praise Sunoo for his amazing acting skills in the trailer, but what can we do? Just continue to praise Sunoo on his acting skills and hope that one day he stars in a K-drama role, even if it's just a guest appearance. Yeah, this is where it all starts to get worse. Alright, so, just about everybody, their mom and their grandma, knows that Sunoo is a very feminine man. He's never been afraid to truly express himself even when he was a child. I think every Sunoo stan has seen at least one pre-debut video of Sunoo dancing to girl group songs along with his female dancer friends, and he was the only boy in the group. He's also capable of showing his masculine side too. His duality is insane. I literally just made and uploaded an animation video showing off both his cutesy feminine and sexy masculine sides. Even though he can showcase both femininity and masculinity, he presents himself as feminine most of the time, at least on camera. But unfortunately, because of that and Sunoo being a cisgendered boy, for some really weird reason, some people can't wrap their head around the fact that boys are allowed to act feminine regardless of what their sexuality is. But because some people are very narrow-minded and stupid, the sexuality assumptions are going full speed ahead. For a while on TikTok I kept seeing a specific search pop up on ENHYPEN's own TikToks that said, Sunoo admitted he dated a guy before. People have been spreading this rumor that Sunoo said in some interview that he allegedly had a boyfriend before. One day I clicked on the search and found absolutely no proof of this claim. And I saw some comments saying it wasn't true anyway. I wanna know who started spreading this rumor and why. Are people out here wishing for Sunoo to be gay? Obviously there are so many problems with this. Now being gay isn't a bad thing of course, but why do y'all continue to heavily speculate on idols' sexualities like this? Literally K-pop stans tend to be advocates for just about everything, and they are always the first ones to tell everyone not to assume people's sexualities. But they are also the first ones to immediately assume an idol's sexuality if said idol acts in a way that they think doesn't fit their gender. Some people are really going as far as to confirm that Sunoo is officially definitely gay. Pause to read that if you want because I'm not. I guess it hasn't been cemented into people's brains enough that everybody can present themselves however they want regardless of their sexuality. Just because Sunoo acts feminine most of the time, hips swaying when he walks, being sassy as having a slightly higher pitch voice when he talks, obsessed with the color pink, was probably mostly surrounded by female friends at school growing up, and deeply loving his older sister and admiring her so much. That does not automatically mean Sunoo is gay. Oh my god. Listen closely. Feminine boy doesn't equal gay boy. Masculine girl doesn't equal lesbian girl. This applies to heterosexuality too. You realize that, right? Masculine boy doesn't equal straight boy. Feminine girl doesn't equal straight girl. I know I sound stupid trying to explain all of this, but it looks like I have to since people are still missing some brain cells. That and people are also still either phobic or very fetishist over gay men. I also want to make it clear that it's not okay to assume someone is straight too. I know heteronormality is still pretty ingrained into most people, so most of the time it can't really be helped. You can still joke around and claim a male idol as your boyfriend, your pookie, your husband, your man, all of that is still fine. Just don't make quote-unquote confirmations by saying something like insert male-female idol here is definitely straight gay because blank. Also another thing before I move on, Sunoo would never ever out himself in an interview or anywhere. Why do K-pop stans always forget how crazy homophobic South Korea is? If he were to come out as anything that's not heterosexual, even if it's asexual or something more unknown, that's an instant career. A lot of Korean citizens are already under the strong belief that it's impossible for men and women to just be friends. So do you really think anybody can just come out over there? Real life is not the same as social media, so I'm gonna need all of you chronically online kids to go outside and roll in the grass until you start getting itchy. Eat some grass while you're at it. This whole incident is the biggest reason why I wanted to make this video, and I actually think this incident showed a lot of true colors within Sunoo stans. This situation pissed me off so badly that I actually made a now unlisted shorts video, and I wrote down an entire Twitter thread about it. I'll show all the screenshots so you can all pause to read the thread. I think I already said nearly everything I had to say in the Twitter thread, but I wanted to reiterate all of it here in this video too for the people that may not know what happened. Apparently this situation got big enough to where there's articles written about it if you Google it. So before I finally talk about my raging response about this incident, I should explain what the even happened first. So, as all Jeans know, around the time the Japanese version of Future Perfect music video was near its release, Belift Lab put out a statement letting everyone know that Sunoo was not able to film the MV due to him being sick at the time of filming, but they also said in the statement that Sunoo was gonna still be able to participate in all of their Japanese promotions for their Japanese album. Alright, so, you would all assume that Sunoo stans would be very understanding of Sunoo's health, especially since during his ILand days he would get ill often due to some condition he had with his lungs. Every other Jin around the world expressed their sadness that he wasn't gonna be in the MV, but they were also happy he recovered well and was still able to do Japanese promotions with the group. So you guys automatically think that Sunoo stans especially thought this way, right? Right? Hey, guess what? No, they fucking didn't.
Okay, Belift Lab, let me get it right. Sunoo was on a hiatus for literally like 1 week, and you still managed not to wait and basically not include a member in a music video? I know it's a Japanese version of Future Perfect Pass the Mic, but you still can't shoot an MV without one member? No Sunoo in Future Perfect Japanese MV, what the fuck is wrong with you? Belift has the chance to make up for leaving Sunoo out of the Future Perfect Japanese MV this comeback, but where is he in all the promotions lately? Hi Belift Lab, ENHYPEN has 7 members. 7. Sunoo included. No, because the pent-up frustrations I have to Belift since day one for being a shitty company to Sunoo is infuriating. I put up with it since then, but they have been accustomed to acting this way to Sunoo. This is unacceptable. Yeah right, like how mad I am too on how they disrespected Sunoo in their Japanese MV of Future Perfect. Didn't give him a single space and changed the entire MV choreography and let someone took his place. It's laughable. If excluding Sunoo in Japanese contents is a good idea, maybe Japanese Future Perfect MV would have reached 100 million views by now, don't you think? Think with your brain, not your ass.
I don't know if any of that was shocking to some of you. If it was, I'm sorry to upset you by showing you all of that. Trust me, I was boiling just from collecting these screenshots. But that wasn't even all of them. There were actually way more tweets than that, but I couldn't screenshot them all. I don't want this video to be a near hour long. All of these Sunoo stans were extremely upset that Belift Lab didn't pick a separate day to film Sunoo's parts separately to include into the Future Perfect Japanese music video. Here's a screenshot I found of someone trying to explain why they possibly couldn't film Sunoo's parts separately. I'll have this one read out so some people can maybe possibly get all of this through their thick skulls. I believe that there are many things we don't know. 1. Sunoo's condition exactly and why he needed rest, the ongoing effects and what that condition means for him physically and emotionally. 2. ENHYPEN's complete schedule. They have many activities, photoshoots, interviews and promotions that we only learn about months later. It's not trivial coordinating a schedule change when they are booked and busy. 3. Contractual obligations with the MV production staff and coordinating their schedule in the face of unforeseen delays. They have other work too. 4. How easy it is to adapt the original concept and shoots to include a member in post-editing without making it look cheap. ENHYPEN always go with on-site shooting for authenticity instead of sets where possible. That requires travel and budget.
Sorry, but no. They had 26 days to figure out and plan how to make a clip of the 15-second line for Sunoo's part in that song. Green screens exist. It's lazy and inconsiderate to have excluded him from the MV. They do have the money, nothing is an excuse.
If I was recording my own voice for this video, I would chuckle with anger right now. Do you guys see this kind of reaction coming from Sunoo stans? All because he got sick before filming a music video? They're not mad at him, obviously. But the anger towards Belift Lab here is so unnecessary in my opinion. The hashtag #RespectSunoo started trending after their statement came out, and the Twitter thread I wrote about that hashtag is what you saw earlier. That hashtag was filled with nothing but Sunoo stans claiming that Belift was mistreating Sunoo for the umpteenth time. Let me re-explain why I think this hashtag #RespectSunoo and these complaints are so inconsiderate and disrespectful to Sunoo, in my not humble opinion. If you really look at all those tweets I showed you before, you can see the real reason why they were all mad about this. They were literally angry all because they wouldn't be able to gush about Sunoo and talk about how pretty he is just for one goddamn music video. That's it, that's the complaint. And the reason why I think these Sunoo stans were being so disrespectful and inconsiderate of him is because they ignored his health condition. You can rewind this video to make sure, but when I showed those tweets earlier, did any of you see anybody say anything about his physical health? At all? Any happy tweets about him recovering at least? No? Oh. Did you guys see any tweets of those Sunoo stans being at least happy he was able to participate in Japanese promotions? No you didn't, did you? Do you see what I'm talking about? It looks like these stans skimmed over the part where they talked about Sunoo getting sick around filming, and then zoned in on the fact that he wasn't in the music video. You know, usually when a company announces that a member in a group couldn't film a music video or perform with the other members due to being sick or injured, fans would be a little sad about a missing member but then would be happy that they recovered and can do promotions with the group. But in this case, Sunoo stans got angry because they couldn't see Sunoo's pretty face for one music video. Literally one. So these stans basically wanted to risk Sunoo getting sick again to make Belift make him film his shots separately just to add into the music video? I remember last year when ENHYPEN were scheduled to go to KCON LA 2022, but unfortunately Sunoo got sick days before they were ready to go so he had to stay in Korea to recover. During that time the other members were in LA. There was no updates from Sunoo for some days I think. He didn't post a selfie or his Sunoo's Emotions series or anything for probably about 3 to 5 days. Hey, guess what Sunoo stans started doing on Twitter because they got no update from him for more than 3 days? That's right. They started harassing Belift Lab about it. They literally started demanding them to give an update about Sunoo since he hadn't posted anything. I remember seeing many tweets on my goddamn timeline of them yelling and crying once again wanting to see Sunoo. I wish I screenshotted them all, but I only managed to find 2 to showcase for this video. I think these 2 tweets perfectly show how demanding Sunoo stans on Twitter are. Cue dramatic reading.
Of course we're worried, but that doesn't mean we're entitled to ask for things that they could normally not even have to share with us. If Sunoo wants to tell us that he's feeling better, he will post it himself like the members usually do. His health is his privacy too.
I'm not even sure why you're making such a big deal out of this when everyone, especially Sunoo fans, are pleading Belift to provide us an update about him. Aren't you aware that you're insensitive? If you can't understand our side then don't bother. Just let us worry in peace.
Aren't you aware that you're being insensitive towards Sunoo for asking the company on an update of him when he can do it himself when he feels ready to do so? I'm worried so I deserve an update. No? That's not how it works. It's his health, his rest, and his decisions.
Oh, so now you're acting all superior and policing us what to do and not to do. Stop twisting my words. I'm genuinely worried about Sunoo. That's why I'm asking if there's an update on his health. If they can't provide then fine, I'll wait. Stop adding other things to my tweet.
Now that I'm rereading these tweets I showed, the sentence "aren't you aware that you're being insensitive" is killing me. Then the nice person tells them that they're the one being insensitive and throwing their demanding behavior back in their face. For this other person to respond, "Oh, you wanna act superior and police us?" These people don't even try to see what they're doing even when called out. They're too focused between wanting to see Sunoo's face every 2 seconds and calling Belift Lab out about mistreatment towards him every 0.2 milliseconds. They can't keep up, you guys. Eventually Sunoo did end up posting an update either on Twitter or Weverse letting everyone know that he was recovering well. I can't help but think he finally had to because Belift was tired of getting tweets and entire emails about it. One last thing I want to bring up for this section is about ENHYPEN's Manifesto tour. Last year when their first tour was about to start, Jungwon actually mentioned in a Weverse livestream that Sunoo kept going to the hospital just to make sure he was well enough to perform for the first tour show. clearly there was something going on last year where Sunoo kept getting ill. Just like when he was on ILand, he kept getting ill. Sunoo stans are fully aware that he is prone to getting ill due to his lung condition. I don't know if it's better now, but it still seems like he's nearly always getting sick. So for these stans to demand that Belift Lab make him dress up, get his makeup done, and film separate scenes for music video just so they can gawk at him is inconsiderate to me. Demanding Belift to update them on his health condition as if they're owed an update from him is disrespectful. Sunoo was trying to recover from whatever sickness he had. And on top of that he was probably sad about not being able to go to KCON LA that year with the members. And then these niggas have the audacity to start demanding an update from him? Well, not from him directly, but basically they did. They literally tried to turn Sunoo's lack of an update while recovering from sickness into yet another case of mistreatment. I swear I remember seeing tweets that were hinting at it. God, I wish I screenshotted them. As you can see by how freaking long this section is. This is probably by far the worst thing Sunoo stans have done. My thumbs actually kinda hurt from typing this entire section because this took me hours to write. I guess all of this could have been a whole video on its own, but I was afraid it would be too short. I mean, I already made a shorts video talking about this like I said before, but you can only say so much in less than 1 minute. To end this section and move on to the final part of this video, let me show you this Reddit post I found. I actually found this accidentally while trying to look for something else. You can pause to read it. I'm done doing dramatic readings for this video. A bitch is tired these days. I think this video is draining me. I have said before that I never watched ILand, but I did watch some clips from the show. From the clips I saw that centered around Sunoo, I can see why nearly every single Sunoo stan is crazy protective over him. I had to rewatch some ILand clips to refresh my memory and also write down what happened to Sunoo on the show. I wrote a list even though I don't know if this is everything that happened, but this is basically the gist of it, right? He kept getting voted to the ground nearly throughout the entire show. His stamina was bad because of his health condition. Cough cough to every nigga that complained about him not being in the future perfect Japanese MV because he was ill. In the beginning of the show his skills were lacking according to the judges, and he had one of the shortest training periods out of everyone. Also the contestants that were on the ILand side. They kept voting Sunoo to go to the ground because they thought his skills weren't on par with theirs. I remember seeing clips where Jay kept voting for him to go to the ground, at least in the beginning. So I would not be surprised if some Baragis had a bit of a grudge towards Jay, but they keep it hidden to appear as OT7. And because Sunoo kept getting sent to the ground despite growing to like it there, Sunoo stans had to keep fighting for their lives to keep him from being eliminated completely by making him the #1 global vote, even though he was still at a low-ish rank. He was thankfully able to still debut thanks to becoming the producer's choice. So with everything that happened on ILand and how cutthroat the show seemed to be, I'm sure a lot of the overprotectiveness of Sunoo stans came from that show. I also always hear that survival shows tend to be a massive breeding ground for solo stans to develop because of the insanely competitive vibe those shows give. So with a good chunk of complaints I showed you all earlier in this video, plus the crazy competitive environment of ILand, plus both Sunoo and his fans constantly fighting to keep him on the show and make sure he debuts, you know what type of rhetoric this reminds me of. Here, watch this clip real quick.
Next, anyone who falls for solo stan propaganda is dumb and impressionable. Literally every solo stan, no matter what group they're a part of, shares the same rhetoric. The company doesn't care about X member doesn't get promoted equally, X member doesn't get enough solo activities, blah blah blah. It's so predictable and it is quite literally the same for every group of solo stans. Within the same group, you see solo stans for each individual member using the exact same talking points. X member didn't get enough lines, so if every member of the group didn't get enough lines according to each of their individual solo stans, then who sang the fucking song? The ability to be turned into a solo stan is simply the mark of someone who is easily impressionable and doesn't do their research. If you compare notes with literally any random solo stan for another idol, you'd realize that all of you are saying the exact same things. If you compared Jimin's solo stans to Jennie's solo stans, ignored specifics, and just looked at their primary argument, you'd see that they're all literally just using the same unoriginal, tired arguments dressed up to make it specific to the idol they solo stan. And frankly, the existence of solo stans for every group proves my point. How is it that HYBE hates every member of BTS and won't promote them properly, and every other member gets way better treatment according to each of the members' solo stans? If they're all getting treated like shit, then who's driving the bus? It literally takes little to no effort to debunk 100% of the things solo stans try to feed you about a member because their arguments are unoriginal and lazy. Nobody with a brain is falling for it.
You heard all of that right? In this very video I talked about how these Sunoo stans keep complaining on a near daily basis about how they always think that HYBE labels has something against Sunoo. All you gotta do is fill in the blanks. Watch this. The company doesn't care about Sunoo. Sunoo doesn't get promoted equally. Sunoo doesn't get enough solo activities. Sunoo didn't get enough lines. I talked about all of this in this video. I'm aware that this can apply to all fandoms that have solo stans in it, so I'm not trying to present this as something new and shocking to discover. But here's the thing. These Sunoo stans try so damn hard to present themselves as OT7 of ENHYPEN. They really be trying to make complaints for other members too. But every single time something happens to Sunoo where they feel like he's not getting enough of something, they are always the loudest for him. Oh hey, fun fact. I actually got into an argument with two Sunoo stans on Twitter before. This was at the time the song Bite Me came out and Sunoo stans had a huge problem with the very small amount of lines he got. I quote tweeted someone saying this. And this is the responses I got from these two unhinged clowns. Take a good pause to read those because those responses threw me for a loop. All I said was that we don't know how they choose who gets what lines, and they tried to turn it around by claiming that I was somehow downplaying Sunoo's vocal ability. It was weird. With this person in particular, I had to remind them that Sunoo was sick and couldn't film for the future perfect Japanese MV, but of course they never replied to it and replied to other tweets I sent them. There was more said here than I'm showing you, but it's all the same solo stan rhetoric they keep shouting about. Belift hates Sunoo, he gets no lines, he gets no promotions, he doesn't get promoted equally, blah blah blah. The same person I just showed you even said to me at some point that they basically didn't care about the other members, but I couldn't find that tweet while looking for it. If I ever find it I'll put it here somewhere. I know that getting into arguments with people on Twitter always go nowhere, but hey, I was bored that day. And since I was already planning on making a video on them by this point, I wanted to see what their responses would be. Their responses were exactly what I was looking for. The solo stan rhetoric. If any Sunoo stan from Twitter watches this video, they would definitely be pissed and try to claim that none of this is true. They gotta keep up their OT7 support image. But that's why I'm providing as many screenshots as I possibly can to show you guys that I'm not talking out of my ass about them. So at this point, I am fully convinced that almost every single Sunoo stan that has supported him from the days of ILand and they call themselves Baragis, you're a solo stan. Or you at least fell for the solo stan rhetoric that can be seen on a daily basis all over social media. Also, before I head into the outro, I know a lot of ENHYPENs are either ex-armies or multi-armies, but can they please stop acting like armies? The behavior I've seen from armies and the behavior I've been starting to see from ENHYPENs is so similar and I already hate it. Oh, ENHYPEN only have ENHYPENs. Karma is on ENHYPEN's side. The K-pop industry hates ENHYPEN. Shut the f*** up. As a multi-army myself, I saw tweets and posts like that on a near daily basis and I am so beyond tired of it. The industry doesn't hate ENHYPEN or BTS, it's just a bad industry that treats all idols like This hero victim savior complex within the K-pop community needs to go. My lord. Hi, I'm writing this part of the script after finishing the original one. I'm here to update on this situation and tell you what happened to me on Twitter. So I wrote another whole stupid thread that I admittedly regret making in the first place, posted it and got ripped to shreds by Baragis. I was called a belift, slicker and dick rider by multiple people, a Sunoo anti, and of course insulted and told that I didn't care about Sunoo. Before I talk about another point I want to bring up, let me correct myself on something. In this screenshot, I just misremembered Sunoo saying that he gets shy sometimes when meeting new people. Should have looked it up before opening my mouth on Twitter. That's my mistake. But I'm still set on my point that extroverts can still experience moments where they can get shy or nervous, just like how introverts can have moments where they can be loud and talkative. Now another major point I want to make that I didn't say before, because Baragis on Twitter kept shoving this point in my face. The whole thing about Belift should have filmed his part another day, or waited until he felt better to film. And I kept seeing Baragis tell me that other companies included members of other groups in other MVs after they recovered from illness or injury. I already showcased why the other points fall apart, but for the other companies' argument? Okay, yes, other companies have included members into music videos after they recovered. However, y'all are conveniently forgetting that some companies don't include members into music videos after recovering from being sick or injured. And these could be the exact reasons why, because we don't 100% know how filming music videos work. Belift was super vague when they talked about him being ill before filming the Future Perfect music video, so we don't even know if it was a common cold, the flu, COVID, or something else. Also, I saw some people try to get on my ass for even mentioning Sunoo's lung condition in my Twitter thread. Like, really? So Baragis can mention his lung condition but I can't? I didn't even talk about it in a negative way. I mentioned it because that could have been the reason why he couldn't film future perfect Japanese MV. It was just speculation on my end. Also, someone tried to show me this clip, as if I was calling him weak or something. I don't know what they were trying to say, but I was not calling Sunoo weak or anything like that. The amount of times I tried to get it through these Baragis heads about how inconsiderate and disrespectful they were being during that whole situation, and all I got was basically no you. This is the last time I'm gonna talk about this situation since they still don't get it. I won't write any more Twitter threads or make shorts or anything talking about this specific incident because I am so tired. And let me ask you this. What would have happened if Belift actually decided to let Sunoo film the future perfect Japanese MV while still being sick? Even if it was Sunoo's choice to still film, the mistreatment claims would still be thrown at them. So literally no matter what they did, it would have been a lose-lose situation. I know I sound like a company stan right now, but I promise I'm not. I don't like Belift just as much as other jeans. They definitely got some people working there. But I'm not gonna spend all day and night trying to prove why X-member is getting mistreated with some faulty and easily explainable evidence. And I do want Sunoo to get more opportunities. But I am also okay with what we're given. I love seeing his cute solo TikToks and the TikToks where he does dance with other idols, the dance breaks where it's more focused on him. The Orange Blood trailer is a whole work of art, and a lot of his verses on their songs end up being my favorite, but none of it is ever enough for you, is it? If Sunoo was truly getting mistreated, wouldn't they never give him any centered dance breaks? Wouldn't they rarely let him film his cute solo TikToks? Wouldn't they have given him something he didn't ask for on Christmas Day? Wouldn't they not let him become MC on In O'Clock and staff wouldn't speak to him so softly like they did? It's like you all forget every great thing Sunoo has given us so far because you're so tunnel-visioned on showing off how mistreated he is and victimizing the fuck out of him. I know for a fact these people are gonna try so hard to twist every single word I say in this video, but I don't even care. All of these solo stans on Twitter do not care about Sunoo. They just want to have full control over him. And just say you want him to leave Belift Lab and go solo in a different company and go, because y'all clearly want him to go solo. It's the only way you will get as much of Sunoo as you want plus more, and more and more and more. No more talking about this. Let's move to the outro because holy shit, this video is stressing me out more than I thought it would.
I am so sorry, this is the last update for this video, I swear. I really thought the previous one would be the final one, but as of February 2nd I just thought of another really good point I want to bring up. I also wanted to further emphasize my point on why I personally thought the future perfect Japanese MV situation was gross. I apologize for this being the third section of this video on the exact same topic. I need to get better at structuring my scripts. So anyway, to these Sunoo stans that were furious about Sunoo not appearing in the future perfect Japanese MV, let me also ask you this. What if Sunoo chose to not appear in the music video to just focus on recovery? What if he was given the option to film his parts another day, or given the option to wait until he was better to film, but ended up saying no? I'm not trying to say this happened because we don't know, I'm just presenting it as a possibility. I wish I thought of this earlier because it all reminded me of Leah's situation with ITZY. She's currently on full hiatus right now due to her mental and physical health declining, and she didn't appear in any music videos or even the recording process or photo shoots for their album. It looks like she was given the option to sit out of all of that to fully focus on recovering. I also remembered that a member from the group 80s also sat out of one of their music videos due to his mental health declining too. Like I said in the previous update before this one, there have been times where companies have let members not film music videos to let them rest and heal. What I'm trying to emphasize even more here that I didn't do before is that these Sunoo stans never took into any consideration that maybe Sunoo himself chose to not be in the MV. Of course we'll never know what really happened, and since this became such a big issue I found it so weird that it became a big deal despite these things happening all the time. We're all used to hearing about idols having to sit out of activities, promotions, MV filming and more due to illness or injuries. So why did Sunoo stans on Twitter make such a huge fuss about this despite it being super common? I'll make the answer short. It's because Sunoo's health wasn't convenient for them at the time. I sincerely apologize for bringing this up once again. But Sunoo stans knew and they still know about his lung condition and how often he gets sick, but they never even tried to consider that maybe he chose not to film the music video due to illness because it doesn't fit the mistreatment narrative that they've been aggressively pushing, especially recently. They only care about his health when it's convenient for them, and they will ignore his health in order to push that narrative. That's the point I was trying to make the whole time in multiple sections of this video, but I was struggling to get it out. I got it out now though finally. Took me many months to think of that for some reason. That's it, I swear. No more updates for this video. This project is fucking killing me.
finally, that is it for this video. I'm very happy to finally get this video and script out of my brain. Y'all don't know how many times I would say points in my head and then I would stop and tell myself to save it for the video, because that's how badly I wanted to talk about this. This was delayed for way too long, but I'm glad it's out there now. Like I said in the intro, this video is purely for archival purposes and to showcase how some Sunoo stans actually are. And again, this video is solely for the people who just assume that Sunoo's fans are wholesome, relaxed people that do aegyo every 2 seconds. This script took me way longer to write than I expected. I took my time with this one because I didn't want to forget any points that I really wanted to say. It would have made me so mad and unsatisfied with the video, so I had to make sure. I usually write scripts all in one night, but this had to take multiple. I'm trying to get better at doing commentary, so this is how I'm gonna write my scripts from now on. I don't think there will be a sequel to this video because I don't think there's anything else to add. If something else happens with the Baragis on Twitter, it's gonna already fall somewhere in this video, especially with the solo stan Rhetoric I pointed out before. Just pray that none of the Sunoo stans I talked about in this video find out about this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and please like and comment on this video to help with engagement. Whether you agree or disagree with anything I said here, please let me know in the comments down below. I hope to never make a video like this ever again because it gave me a ton of stress. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.
Baby, I'm gone, why you hate me so bad? Take off your clothes and we talk about that. If you your love and they hit on your back, you sleep on the money and forget about the man. Baby, I'm gone, why you hate me so bad? Take off your clothes and we talk about that. If you your love and they hit on your back, you sleep on the money and forget about the man.